everyone. This is Waji. I am the founder and CEO of White Group and also a director at Renesis Tech. Today, we welcome you to the very first episode of our Founders Show. This is an incredible initiative that we've taken, and I'll tell you the purpose of it. But today, I have all the founders of the Founders Show. So with me, we have Miss Kloe Kong, who runs Block Club, an amazing community that she's built in Dubai, and hosting events and connecting people. Then we have a very famous artist as well as a businessman from Japan, Mr. Yuya Takahashi. He's the founder and CEO of Large Group and also co-founder for White Group. And then we have Mustafa. He is the CEO of Renesis Tech and Arcadian Lab. Together, we're doing a lot of incredible things. So today we'll talk and see how it goes. So welcome everyone to the show. And it's a pleasure to have all of you here. So I'll start with Yuya. He's the co-founder of White Group and also the CEO of Large Group. So he has been in Dubai before. Yuya, how's your feeling with this show?
So good, actually. So as you mentioned, Dubai is a very international place as well as a market, economically, I believe. And, from Japan, handling business, ideas, creativities, I think as Japanese, we all need to expand more overseas. And I think it's a perfect place to gather around and conduct together. Then we are bringing better value, I believe.
That's amazing. And, from your region, especially when it comes to Japan, the way you've scaled and, we're forging partnerships here, there is a lot of opportunity that we see that we have in common. So what was your motivation, or let's say, what was your thinking when you were making this move and coming to Dubai? What made you do that?
So long story short, I studied in Switzerland, in Zurich, for 5 years. While dancing, I had the leverage of studying politics, economies, finance, and I believe I had not so much of knowledge what's happening in Japan when I was a teenager. So I had a good expectation of what's happening in Japan, but I was actually not there. So after graduation, I was working in Europe, one of the ballet company that I was in. I go back to Japan, and few of my expectations were too high, let's say. Yeah, so I decided the expectations and the dream that I had, what I developed in Switzerland, to see how the Japan could be and the Japan could offer more for international market to everybody, close my friends, So I gathered what I could do in Japan, locally, and now I'm ready to pursue the steps that I was
That's
planning.
brilliant, actually. Yeah. So this is how it is. You start and then it never ends.
Yes, exactly.
So going to Kloe, I would want you to tell your story, how you started this, how you came in, and how is it going for you?
Well, okay. So I moved to Dubai 5th of January, and I started to go to other events to see what's missing in Dubai. And I found out there's a very big difference in the events in Dubai than the events that I did in Shanghai, because I started 5 years ago in Shanghai. And the biggest difference is they don't do any events in high-end venues. So I was like, why do people go to a cafe, for crypto events and AI and blockchain events? And maybe the big founders, they will never show up. So for me, the biggest difference is all the venues that I choose, they are all high-end. And we start to attract, high-level people, and they're more interested to see the place because the venue itself is amazing. For instance, our Sky Pool or Lamborghini Rooftop, they're all amazing venues. And then the founders, they feel more relaxed, if it's more high-end venues, of course, instead of a cafe or somewhere on the street. So starting from February, I started to do my first event. It was at Vida Yacht Club in Marina. Oh my God, that was, I invited 3 guests and from my own circle, and then 2 guests from the internet, they showed up. So in total, we had only 5 guests for my first event. So basically, it was not so fabulous for the first launch event. However, I never stopped. I started from first Wednesday of February, and then I just keep adding more events, and I never stopped. I think consistency is the key to success.
Absolutely true. And that's how, you achieve success. It's not overnight. It's a long way to go.
True.
So how do you feel about Founders Show? Since it's a show you're going to lead and you meet with a lot of founders. So the idea that we have brought to this, platform through DBC Media, it's basically to feature and show the people around that what the founders are doing in the Middle East. So how do you feel about this show and
No, I'm very excited about the show actually, because in my own community, I have around maybe 2,000 founders of the company and then C-level of the people. So why not do a founders show? Because a lot of the people who come to my event, I want to know their story, how they started, So we already have the resources to invite all the guests or the founders of the company to join our show from my own circle.
Absolutely.
So, I'm very excited about the show.
Very, very excited, all of us. So now I'll move to Mustafa because, to do everything in this century, we need tech. We need an ecosystem. Technology has to be it's with our lives, right? So Mustafa, as he's the founder of the Renesis Tech, we've done a lot of amazing things together, but I would want him to tell us about his story and your feedback overall.
So Renesis Tech was actually an amalgamation of certain steps that I took while I was in university. It all started off with having an idea where I wanted to connect people in apartment buildings. And at that time, I thought, this is it. I'm going to be a billionaire. This is the best idea. And everybody, is pushing me. It's like, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's going to work. And that thrill and that passion, I started developing it with one of my friends. But of course, didn't the first startup doesn't really work out well, and so it didn't. And then I moved on to another startup, which was called Fidista. It was a meal plan company, and we did you generate some cash, but then had a falling apart. And then for the third one, when I was working on it, I realized that if I want to keep doing this, I need an infrastructure in place. Otherwise, I'll go broke. So essentially, that's what gave birth to Renesis Tech. And Canada is where, I really devised the plan for how it should be structured and what I can do. And because I'm a Pakistani and that's where I come from, I wanted to leverage my background, right? And it just played out beautifully. And something that started off with 2 or 3 people now is a team of more than 80, 90 people. And right in the midst of it, I had a passion for games, and I came across, so my co-founder, Shiroz, I came across him. It was very strange how it all came together. And he showed me that, there is a business model that we could work on, which is mobile games and so on. And so studied on it, worked on it slightly. And we started making games. And then the next thing you know, a few of our games are hitting the top charts. Worked with some of the very big publishers, and now finally transitioning into becoming a publisher ourselves. So it's been an incredible journey. Incredible. Lovely. And then obviously now moving on to bigger things, even bigger things. And we have White Group, we have DBC, Kloe, your events, which are amazing, access point to a lot of the creme de la creme of entrepreneurs. So I think it's great coming together like this.
For a founder, it's like, jumping off a cliff and, assembling a plane. And then before you fall, you have to take off and take it up. So it's very challenging. It's like, you need a lot of motivation and the life. Sometimes you have to make a lot of sacrifices. Sometimes, you have to go literally working all the time and all that. So I just wanted to also know, how has been life to you, like your life in this entire tenure, and what you want to say about it?
So honestly, there's a trade-off. I'll be brutally honest. There's no other way to do this. Either you focus on work, business, or you focus on your social life and you go out, right, all the time. Now, Kloe is lucky. So Kloe doesn't really, I won't count her into this.
The social life too.
So she's basically, her, and which is why I think it's incredible to be working, within Kloe's ecosystem as well. Like, because this is where Kloe bridges the gap of us people not being as social. And then Chloe's like, be social.
Exactly.
And do the same thing socially.
I invited all of you guys to my
exactly.
the key table.
That's lovely. That's lovely. So I think Kloe is the one bridging this gap. But for me, before I met Kloe and, came to her events, I think it was difficult because I didn't have a social life. I'm sure Yuya must have been quite close story. Yuya's story might be quite close to mine.
Yeah.
And same as you, working all the time. You don't have time for friends. You don't have time for family. Everybody's fighting with you. You don't come, you don't show up, and so on and so forth. The commitment has to be there, especially when you're starting. But once you've laid the foundation and the bricks are there, and you've built the ecosystem, so as to say, I think you reach a point where, yes, now you have some time off, take it easy. But by that time, because you've done it so much, what you really want is the next thing. Yeah. So, and the cycle repeats itself.
Yeah.
And for me, I think, as you know, Vaji, how many things we have worked on. We haven't even discussed a few of the projects that that we have in the pipeline. And yeah, so it's, I think there's a trade-off. But is it worth it? I don't know, because my father always tells me that there needs to be a balance in life,
right.
And you need to create this balance. Otherwise, if you're very successful, if you're good in business, you're weak everywhere else, it's not a good way to live life. So you need some balance. And I think, Kloe, you're doing a great thing, like balancing out.
Balance,
there's a balancing act here, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great initiative.
No, actually, I do think I love what I do. That's very important. Yeah. And I love going out. I love to meet people. So that's why I started to create events for people to come to me, and then I meet all of them. And I love to go out. I love nice venues. I love to have a social life. So I created The Key. And then it's a marketing company for all the high-end venues. So we have, so you don't feel like you're working when you love something that you do. And this is my life. If I like something, I want to make it a business around what I love. And so you don't feel like you're working. And I love to be on the show. So I don't feel like working when I'm doing the host.
That's how it is. She enjoys working.
Yes.
So interesting thing. Like of course, we have a different background. Like I studied computer engineering, and then I get into the tech and all that. So we're working on AI, blockchain. This is why these things, we're interested to do these things, right? But for you, how did you get into tech, and how's your life actually?
After tech.
Yeah, and also since maybe like when I was 2, I love playing games. My first game was Pokemon, of course.
Pokemon.
Legendary.
That time, I'm telling you, I couldn't read even a Japanese, but I was there, man, like playing something, I was there, man. So like playing games, that brought me to a lot of hardware knowledge. Actually, like I was hacking all this PlayStation Portable that you can play, like not only the Sony things, you could play like Nintendo games as well. I don't know if I should be talking about this thing. But so that's how I got into tech, because I like knowing the system, how it's working, as well as, completing the game. I like going step by step, logically, efficiently. So I like all the, how can I say, tech minds. Yeah, tech minds, IT. It's, I think, kind of in my nature, like the way I think about something, the way I think about somebody. Yeah, maybe I'm a computer.
Well, we are engineers. I mean, we are, a biological computer.
Maybe
I think.
taking the initiative, it's always scary. So
Yeah,
so
true.
how do you like see this sort of thing? Have you came across people who want to do something, but they're
Yeah. Well, actually, last night, okay, I had a call with my friend from the UK, and I can't say her name, obviously. And then she said, Chloe, I'm struggling. I was like, what do you mean you're struggling? And so literally I asked her for a favor to bring me some capsules, Nespresso capsules from the UK in the local shops, okay? And then she said, I'm capable to do bigger things, but then I don't know how to make it happen. So she has a lot of ideas in her mind, but she doesn't know how to execute it. And she said, I'm flying back on Friday night. Can we have a coffee? I need your help. I want to brainstorm. I want to quit my, 9 to 6 job or whatsoever, because she's very creative and she just doesn't have the power to execute her ideas. And I think it's very important because I have 100 ideas every day, but you can't execute every single idea. So you have to pick which ideas you think you love more, and then you want to make it happen. You want to execute immediately. And if you look around, every single piece of these objects, they're created by us, by someone, right? And if you don't do it, someone else will do it. So I think sometimes you just need to have the courage to do it.
Totally agree. And I always say, like, it's better to fail than to regret. So if you think that you could do something, go on it.
Yeah.
Like try it out. If it would work out, if you have, planned it very well, and then you learn. So your consistency, like she told about the first event, like, think, man, she started like with 3-5 people. Look at how she has
now we have
become.
3,000 people in the community.
Wow.
And
So
this is
you have to be consistent, and failures
And
are
even
part of the
more
life.
than that, Waji, right now, the risk, like what we were discussing the other day in the car, the risk of not doing something is less than the risk of, or is it the other way around?
Taking the risk.
Not taking the risk.
Exactly.
So if you take the risk, is actually it's better for you in the long run, because not doing anything, remember, money, the value of money is depreciating.
True.
If it's in the bank, if you're making something, if you don't know how to invest, if you don't know how to work with money, I think you're losing out regardless, especially with the inflation right now.
So it's higher risk.
Of course. It's higher risk not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important for people to understand and have this mindset, and then, make an active effort to, execute their projects, execute their dreams.
Yeah.
And you only know if you try, right? Otherwise, you're 100% guaranteed it's not going to happen.
Exactly. And I mean, look at so we're starting a podcast, obviously, with the founders of the companies or the co-founders or the CEOs of the companies. And so we just need to start because look at, what's his name? Jamie Fallon. There's a famous podcaster in US, the host. I think it's Jamie Fallon.
Okay.
Anyways, we will have a look later on. And now he has 100 million followers, and he has to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And when he starts, I'm sure there's 0 followers. So we just need to start. That's it. And then we will see how to adjust along the way after we start. This is how every business is done. You can't think perfectly plan and then you do it perfectly according to the plan. You just need to start. That's it.
Yeah. And if you start, you now have another thing to figure out how I run this.
Exactly.
So that's how it is. What do you have to say about this?
No, I think starting with purpose, I think that's very important, because what you can offer, what's the value in it, Otherwise, there's no meaning. So you need to be really consistent on what you want to offer for the others, That's, I think, very important.
Yeah. And then another really important question, we're meeting in Dubai. It's not any other part
What's
of the world.
that mean, man?
That means that we are here because of the ecosystem that Dubai has created.
Yeah.
Simply put, it could have been any other part of the world, but it's here where we meet. And I feel the money flow right now is also diverted towards Dubai. And Dubai, I think, is also strategically placed in a way that it's, one flight from all around the world. Literally the midpoint, I guess, right? And even the government, I feel, has created a system here where they want people to come in and do business, I guess, especially when it comes to tech, I guess. Even with Web3, the way they're advancing Web3, most of the places they're like, what is Web3? Don't do it. Scared of it, right? And maybe there are reasons to why there needs to be some sort of regulation that handles Web3, of course. That's a completely different subject matter. But still, I believe Dubai, the ecosystem that they're providing, plays a very important role.
Yeah, and I think this is very important to know that from every region of the world, we tend to see a lot of diversified, set of people, founders, startups, enterprise companies. They're established in Dubai, and like meeting with these people, like today, even on our podcast, we're like from all the different places: China, Japan, Pakistan. So this is how it is. You tend to see a lot of different people and you work together. It basically opens up a gateway to, trade, to do certain things together. So I think for making alliances and expand your business, it's a perfect place to be. And that's how we have, met. And today we are having this conversation and starting this
I agree.
A Founders Show.
Yeah. I agree.
So Kloe, let's add some fun element to the interview.
Yes.
It's not an interview, it's just a discussion.
Yeah.
So any question that you want to ask us about any fun thing that you need to ask?
Any fun things? Okay, I need to think. Well, apparently we meet almost every day now. That's true.
That's true.
And, so what I want to do for the Founders Show, I don't want it to be a boring show. We're going to have a Monopoly displayed on the table, and then we will have 2 stacks of cards. One is called Chance, and the other one is called Destiny. And then people will take the cards, and then we have some questions related to how they start their company and how do they balance their life with their business, because it's also very important. I know you just got married.
Yes.
Yeah, so you know how to, you need to learn how to balance your personal life and your business life.
Yes.
They just tell you, I got funded by this company, but they didn't tell you how they got the fund.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
I think this is some secret sauce in our industry, and I want to know.
Yeah, no, that's I actually I agree, and I actually love the way you gamified the entire DBC concept. I love it.
Yeah.
You have these cards, you pick a card, and it's a mystery. What's the question going to be?
Exactly.
Regarding?
And actually, it will be the same question. You found your company. No, I'm kidding.
But in a way that it's more exciting, right?
It's
It
more
has
fun.
like this. It's more fun. It has this, fun element, of course.
Yeah, because knowing the founders is like knowing the entire organization, the leadership style. So there is a lot that, we would be sharing from this platform to the audience, to the people who want to know, let's say if there's a startup who just started their company, seeing the founder who has run this company for 10 years, what kind of challenges they faced, how they came to this point. This is very important information that I think everybody should know, because we have to focus on pushing the entrepreneurship, because this is a mindset actually. Rather than going for being an employee or going for jobs. If let's say you're going to initiate or do something, you're going to create more jobs. So
exactly.
Founders, they're normal people, how they started, how they are doing. This is the main takeaway for our audience through this show. Yeah.
Agreed.
But coming back to the fun element, we have to make it funny as well. So how do you make your work fun, man?
Fun?
Yeah,
I think we should have like the theme that it's fun. Maybe we could have interview in jacuzzi.
Oh yeah,
True. Because I do have a venue on Sunday, Sunset AI Blockchain Summit. We do have jacuzzis, 2 jacuzzis actually. Yeah.
Let's have a sit.
Yeah, we could have one of
that's
Jacuzzi Fridays. I mean, I guess.
Jacuzzi Fridays. That's a good one.
We can do that.
Yeah.
And also I want to know, because everyone, I believe there's one mentor or there's one book who inspired someone to become entrepreneur. And I truly believe this, because if your parents, they are not entrepreneurs, you can't grow up being an entrepreneur, So my parents, they were entrepreneur their whole life. They don't have jobs. They lost their jobs, and then they start to open restaurants and tea house in China.
Yeah.
And that's amazing because when you suffer in a situation, you need to think how to get out of this situation. And so I grew up. I was inspired by my mother. However, she doesn't have all the philosophy or the knowledge about how to be successful. She just go ahead and do it because she has to. Because she has me, you know? And I do believe every entrepreneur, there's a back-end story which inspired them to start the journey, to quit their jobs, to start to be an entrepreneur. And this is what I want to know. You know, maybe there's a book or maybe there's someone who inspired them. So tell me, guys, for me, it's my mom and Elon Musk, okay?
Let's start with Yuya.
Yeah.
Who's it for you?
Or a book or someone from the internet, you know. It doesn't have to be an actual person who's close with you. Because we can get inspired with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I have so many people that I think I get very inspired easily. Like, yeah, I'm
Find inspiration everywhere.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, like as you were mentioning, like, you know, maybe we could be some aliens or whatever, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, like everybody equal. Like what I see, everybody have some value in it, you know.
Yeah.
And I like appreciating by what they do in many aspects. So yeah, anything that it's, you know, I like golden ratio, that it's, you know, the existence of objects,
Yeah.
going back to that point, you know, how it's held here, how it's here, you know, it's
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
you can appreciate.
Color patterns and,
Yeah.
yeah. The artistic element of
Okay,
everything.
so sorry, just to, I want to ask you, how did you start your first company?
How I started
What's your first company, by the way? It's the sake?
No, I think that came later on.
Yeah, okay. So I have a very, how can I say, interesting history on those things. However, one company that I would like to, how can I say, prolong to a longer time. So like for generation over generation, a company can be existed and sharing values, you know, and that's where I am looking at now. And how I started. Yeah, by the way, actually, you know, can I share one thought of mine of fundraising? There are some mentor of yours that guides you, you know, and I think appreciation as well that brings equals the trust, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I think those are my thoughts, you know, like sharing belief and trusts, and that's usually I get to know the people, I get to know the project or the service, you know, and I take it from there. You have your like valuable people around you, and you know you can talk to them like, hey guys, look, this we want to start this, you know, let's do it together, and there is already a value, you know.
True.
You are not starting from beginning out of, you know, you have somebody always with you,
Yeah.
you know, supporting.
Like us.
Yeah, I guess.
And I think important is that who supported you or who is supporting you, who has been supporting
Absolutely.
you need to give them back,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility. That's quite
Exactly.
inspirational, by the way. But
But he still didn't tell what was it
his
that
first
business. Like,
Yeah.
what was your first business?
Yeah, my first business that I can share, let's say,
Okay.
was my fashion brand that I started. Now
Cool.
it's
Oh,
one?
wow. So we didn't even know there was a fashion brand.
So
What?
you see, this is how it
Yes,
is.
yeah,
We
yeah,
need to
yeah,
ask
yeah.
the initial
which
question.
I can share, right? Which I can share. So that's now a suit company. It's a tailored, and we only have the customers from it's a VVIP. We only have really a Japanese kimono materials. So
Very exclusive,
prime,
high end.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it is now. But you know, by the time that I was doing the, how can I say, a fashion industry, you can start to do the import and export tradings, and there I expanded.
Excellent.
Now
Right,
we
that's-
know. Oh
yeah.
my God.
So one
we
thing
know
leads
each
to
other for
another.
a year
Another,
and we
yeah.
don't even know he has a fashion brand.
Yeah, that's quite inspirational. And you're right. See, it's all about the people that you have in your ecosystem, because your startup or your any idea is like a brainchild. Start this. It's like a child. You have to consistently work
Yeah.
on that. Make sure that you put all your effort in making that a successful, you can say, running business. So in this entire journey, if you have people that can share your vision, that can trust your leadership, and they have faith in whatever you're doing, will be successful. Of course, it's the people at the end that you're left with. And once you start, like how long we live, it's like we're not going to be here forever. So, but
Yeah.
if you build an infrastructure for generations, if you build something where people can take the legacy forward, that's what our responsibility is at the end, to contribute to the society as well. And I'll tell you, Kloe, I come from a very like Mustafa knows about me, I come from a very humble background. I come from a very, you can say, I took all this from the ground. So I saw all the things, like the hardships and everything. Like you can say that there were times I was in a survivor mode. So you have to come across a lot of things. And of
Yeah.
course, you're right that there are mentors. I've seen people who literally tap the shoulder of me and say, you can do it, you have to do it, I believe you can do it. And then I kept doing it. I just never looked back. Trust on yourself, and there you are.
Yeah.
So this is how the life is. And of course, there's a lot to do. When we reach to this point, we realize that how small we are. We reach to a bigger point, we realize that the more smaller we are. So
Exactly.
it's basically when you grow, when you get successful, you actually find that there is a lot more to do.
Exactly.
That's how it is for the founders.
Yeah, that's great. That's I think it's great. From your background, the existence of you being here should be admired from somebody from your home country, towns, cities. I think there you go. You are already leading some of the minds.
So who inspired you? Is there a specific person who really inspired you and to have you, to keep you moving forward? Was it one of your parents, or was it someone, your close friend?
Yeah, starting. Have you read The Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Oh, yeah. By this Japanese American.
Yeah. So there were like stages in my life that I was inspired by different people. So starting from my family, of course, and then I grew up. So there are mentors that I was with, because in the stage when I started working, I was not having this mindset to take initiatives, take challenges and all that. But there was a mentor that I had back in Pakistan. He really pushed me to, try out and see how results are. And I still remember there was an event that we planned, and that was in the morning, 7:00. And we couldn't, make like the speaker of that event was supposed to come to that event from another city. We couldn't get the flight for that speaker, and I was like, how do I do that now? And I called the mentor that I call, and he said, now you have to figure it out. And I was like, how? But I figured this out. That night, I learned that, when you're given this kind of, open ground to solve things on your own, you can do certain things. You can unleash, your actual potential. So this is how the leadership works there. And then Mustafa came in. He's one of my, I would call him my mentor as well, because I joined them literally. Like this is what I say. Like we have people around us, and if you have good people, if you are surrounded with people who can, push you forward, of course, there are bigger things that you can do. Yuya is now one of my inspirations that I really see, because he's someone we look. He's young. He's not that old, but the things, the incredible history, or you can say the initiatives he has taken, we see a lot of. Like he came to Pakistan too. Right. So he has this, kind of, he's already successful, but he's always up for elevating people, bringing them. And today we're here with the Founders Show. It's also one of his idea, and we are together forming this, and we'll continue this legacy. So,
I think the most important thing in life that I learned is you want to work with the great people.
Yeah.
You want to work with people who has great minds to inspire you, and or you can inspire them. You know, you just have to hang out with a group of great people, and you're always looking forward, and that's it. Because you can't hang out
and it's
with the
not
people
about
who
us.
don't
We are
have a
also,
mind.
back home, let's say in China, people see you. You're in Dubai in like 8 to 10 months or 1 year. What you have done is incredible,
Yeah,
right?
well, they saw on my
yeah.
WeChat post. They're
Exactly,
like, Chloe, how did you do all these events?
Exactly. We, like on the tech side, we've been ranked among the top 10 in the artificial intelligence. So people, like, no matter you're coming from which region, what country, if you're bringing value to the table, people will respect you. And this, elevates the motivation for the younger generations, the people who are looking to do something.
Yeah.
They see everybody as an inspiration.
Okay, so now we know Yuya's first business was a fashion brand, okay, a tailor shop. What about you, Mustafa?
So the first one was called Novardo. Novardo. It was
Game.
It was not a game. It was not a game. It was an application that connected people living in apartment buildings, because I thought they were all away from each other, even though they were so close.
What
But
do you
I-
mean? So you build literally a group, a community.
It was a community. It was like an app, so you could talk to each other, share things, right? So let's say I don't have a vacuum cleaner. Is in the somebody in the building have vacuum cleaner, and you talk to them, and they can maybe rent it to you and so on. So it was just a small idea, then it turned into a property management thing. It didn't work out, but that's how it all started off.
Okay.
But coming back to the original point that what you mentioned, like what's the original inspiration aspect? Like
Yeah.
why business?
Yeah. Exactly.
Why like Waji mentor would be you. Who is your mentor?
Yeah, so
Exactly.
That would be
Actually-
interesting.
No, I love it. I love
Okay,
it.
that's a very good.
And this is very emotional, because people, they have memories from those hard times, and you have a mentor come in, and then literally your life is changing from that moment. And you might not know before you met the mentor or before you read this book, So we want to know.
So honestly, it was in university. I still sometimes I think about it, like what happened. Because I wasn't like this. I wasn't originally. I'm gonna be very honest. I wasn't originally always like this. And I was having a good time. You know how university is. University. You're.
Where was your university? In Canada?
It was in Canada. It was Western University.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I did have a professor there who was very enlightened. I believe J.D. Han.
Wow, you remember the name?
Of course. And it was a good time, I spent with him. He taught me about money.
Oh.
And I think that's what changed things for me, because I understood what money is. And the minute you understand that it's going to go down, and I'll give you a simple example. Like 50 years ago or 60 years ago, if I had $1,000, I could purchase something rather
Yeah, that's true.
better than what I could purchase today, right? And in terms of value of that $1,000, how much has depreciated, it kind of started to shock me.
Yeah.
And same was with income. So essentially what you need to do is you need to look at history, and you need to see that what's been happening over a period of time, and where has the value of, let's say, your income, let's say it's $40,000. I mean, if you look at Canadian income, it's been $40,000, which is basic income, and it's been there since 50 years ago, right? 40 years ago. But if you look at it right now, it's still $50,000, but the purchasing power has depreciated so much that it's and same with Pakistan. Same with, I'm pretty sure, like Japanese economy is a
Japan
little
the
different.
same. No,
it's the same. It's a little
been
different.
30 years that the salary is not changing.
Salaries are not changing, but expenses are, right?
Yeah,
Things are
yeah.
getting more expensive.
Inflation is
Inflation. So what is inflation? It's a beautiful word when I say it's inflation, but actually what it is, what I feel it is the value of what you've done. So your human value, my effort, right, is being depreciated. And when you understand this, suddenly it depends on the kind of person who's trying to absorb this information. But for me, what happened was, and I think it was this information that brought me to a point where I realized that if this is the case, I need to really understand the system and see what the way out is. And what I came to understand was that it's business, where there's a compound effect on income that could not only fight this inflation, call it what you want, right? Depreciation of our wealth over a period of time, if you're not investing it properly, which is why I said that you need to be knowledgeable in the finance world, which you're actively looking at it as well. I'm looking at it. And I think it plays a very big role in understanding how finances work. There are a lot of companies, they make money, they spend money.
Yeah.
There's no concept of reserve. There's no concept of saving. And even Waji, we had this discussion as well, setting up White Group, that what should be the protocols. even with DBC, I would highly recommend that you guys should all look into this strategically. And I think coming back to the original point, I think it's such a serious subject, which is why I'm pretty sure everybody's like just honed in. Okay, that's true. Actually, holy shit! Like,
No, I agree with you because nobody taught us about money.
Yeah.
When you grow up, you go to school, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. So in the school, you learn all these subjects, especially in Chinese school, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I would never have my kids grow up in China, in Chinese schools, because then you learn 20 subjects. And how can you focus? And you need to know what is a special gift for your kid, and what is what's his advantage, what is his, something he's passionate about. And this is what you need to find out when he grow up. You need to take him to all sorts of sports or activities, and you will find out what's his passion. Yeah. And then you need to focus on his passion, not 20 subjects. And how can he focus on one? You know, absolutely. So I'm terrible at school. Okay, I suffered.
Same here. Actually, I think a lot of people
in school. But the thing is, nobody taught us about money.
Yeah.
And then when you graduate and people tell you need to make money.
And that's the purpose.
Nobody taught us about money, how to make money. Exactly. So like, I think the whole education system, and now we don't need school because we have YouTube. You can learn everything from YouTube.
Agreed.
If you need a nice
skill,
ballet instructor, we have Yuya. You find the top people, you find the champion to guide you. Yes. You don't need a school to guide you. So I think you're right. If your first mentor was the professor from your college, I think he's done a phenomenal job because there's no professor or no teacher in this world is teaching you how to make money.
Yeah.
And then when you grow up, you need to make money. And you never learned how to make money throughout 20 years or how many years were you in school? 15 years?
Yeah.
In school.
It's a long
time.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if you're starting from 7 years old and all you need to figure out is what is money, how to make value, how to make more money. And then within 15 years, you become amazing person in business.
Yeah.
So I think education system, especially in China, the kids, they are not fully explored their potential in school because you have 20 subjects.
Too many things that they're
too many. It's too many. Yeah.
There's no focus.
And it's almost like every in our country, it's pretty much the same. They put a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and they think that everybody in the class or school is going to process the same thing and they share the same passion, but no, everybody's different. Every child has a different mindset, their capability. So this is one of my vision as well, the long-term vision that we need to work on the education tier so that you can produce more good people. So I'll be taking the closing line so we can finally conclude the show. So
I'm very happy with our stories actually.
It's
amazing. It's amazing.
And it was a good conversation.
What we have done on the top of everything is that we have formed this a White Group and DBC. So White Group is going to be, you can say like an entity who can help you grow for businesses. Let's say we help them to solve their problems and connect the international markets together. So from Dubai, I think we have initiated this and we are incredible partners here, and we share the same vision. So let's see how we can make an impact and take it from there. So that's that's a perfect start. Thank you everyone for
thank you
being here, and we take it from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Take care.